This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
You're watching INCRadio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of our viewers. What's going on? It's been a while. Welcome back to INCRadio, Central Valley, California. If y'all know who I am, my name is Brother Mark Marenko from the local congregation of Bakersfield, District of Central Valley, California. It is so nice to be back. So nice to see everyone here. And thank you again to all our viewers for tuning in. I'm not alone, though. Alongside me are two of my favorite co-hosts. Go ahead and introduce yourself. We'll start with Caitlin.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Bautista. I'm from the local congregation of Bakersfield.
Thank you, Caitlin. And we go ahead, my other co-host here, my one and only Odysseus Briones. Odie, what's going on, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I am Odysseus Briones, also from Bakersfield, District of Central Valley, California.
If you guys, before we start the show, give us one fun fact about yourselves that you want to share with the audience. We'll start with you, Odie.
One fun fact about me.
Interesting fact, my brother. My goodness, you're such a creative, and it's. You see the thought process that goes into finding a fun fact. I love it, bro. I love it. Caitlin, what about you?
Fun fact about myself is I'm a psychology major, so that's why today's topic is very interesting to me.
Thank you for that, Sister Caitlin. And for everyone to know, Brother Odie is my acting Kirio Vice President in the local Bakersfield. And so me and him are the dynamic duo of Bakersfield, so to say. Anyway, to continue on, Caitlin, Odie, I'm glad that you're able to join us for today's show, as I think it's a very timely topic, and it's about, nourishing the mind, being able to have positive self-talk in a world that's filled with comparison culture, right? And so I want to go ahead and begin to talk about, what do you guys see in the world today when it comes to comparison culture? Is there anything drastic or crazy that you see in the world today? Others that are doing, either on social media or on your own personal media platforms? Caitlin, we'll start with you.
I feel like especially now with the rise of technology, it's very easy to compare yourself on social media. You see your friends who are doing so many different things in their life, and you contemplate, am I on the right track? Am I going at the right pace? I feel like self-comparison is very damaging without us realizing it in a way. When we're always comparing ourselves against other people, we're essentially setting ourselves up for failure in a way, because we're inhibiting ourselves from achieving our goals.
And I like how you mentioned that, how on social media, like it's supposed to be technically a way to be able just to keep up with one another, to see how everyone's doing. But the fact that everyone continues to look at it as a way of saying, like, man, why can't I be there? Why can't I get to that where they're at? It's kind of something that we take for granted, or we don't really see that often. What can you add to that, Brother Odie?
So I definitely agree with Sister Caitlin on that, but also not just from the people that we know, but also from influencers or people we see on other type of social platforms, where we see them like, oh man, maybe I could have this if I do the same things that they're doing, or maybe I could have the same body or muscles that this person might have if I worked harder, and then it turns into something negative, which Yeah.
I'm glad that you bring up influencers, Odie, because then social media nowadays is just filled with tons of social media influencers. Myself, I follow a couple of financial social media influencers because I want to get myself to be financially on track, or even like people in the real estate industry or business influencers to be able to get me towards having that business that I want to have in the future. But there's also the opposite side of that, where like how Odie you mentioned, like there are these like muscle influencers or these people that unintentionally make us feel like, why can't I be like that, right? And so now I want to ask you, Odie, like how do these popular trends lead to like discontent or maybe even harming our self image? How does that how do these like trends ruin that image of ourselves?
Well, when we start seeing other people or yeah, influencers, like seeing them, oh man, they have the up to date clothing, or maybe they have like very expensive jewelry and that type of thing, makes us think and maybe look at ourselves in a way that, man, I don't have that, I don't have this, and it starts to damage ourselves because if it makes us feel like we don't have as much, so to say, worth than the people who have those materialistic things.
Galen, what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely agree with Odie. When you have this constant negative self-talk, you are in a way fueling insecurity or feeling that you're not good enough in comparison to your peers or your classmates or your friends. In a way, it creates this inner voice in your head that, like, how do I say this? Like, if we continue to talk negatively about ourselves, we end up believing in it too. So.
And so now we want to go on and ask the viewers here that are watching, what are some things that you deal with on the daily, that affects your perception of yourself, or what are some things that you see how others, oh, I guess, how do you handle uh, going on social media and taking the content that you see and not letting it affect yourself, which leads us to our second point, which is renewing the mind based on faith-based self-talk. And so we want to go ahead and explore the topic of renewing your mind. And so you guys mentioned how these social media influencers, it's supposed to have a positive effect on us, but for some it might not be that way. It might not help us out. It might only hinder us from getting to a specific point where we need to be at. And so I want you guys to go ahead after myself first. I'm going to start off by sharing examples of self affirmations that I would tell myself in order to have that more kinder, positive mindset for going through my day to day life, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and begin with I follow a lot of basketball influencers, and it's because I love basketball. I've been following the NBA for a long time, and sometimes even want to be an NBA. Well, I would want to be in the NBA, but I know that it's just hard for me at the moment at my age, and of course I can't get there right away. And so all I got to do is just keep telling myself that I'm doing the best that I can. I dabble in it, and as long as I love what I'm doing and it's getting me to where I want to be, then that's the best that I can do, and I enjoy the sport that I love. And that's how I am able to cope with and be able to handle those pressures that I get from seeing these different basketball influencers. Caitlin, you want to go ahead and share next?
About reshaping the mind.
Or renewing your mind, and examples of your own affirmations that you would tell yourself about renewing your mind from faith-based self-talk.
So to me, renewing your mind is kind of reshaping the way that you think, letting go of any harmful or negative beliefs that you have about yourself or the world, and thinking more encouraging thoughts, more uplifting thoughts that empower you, and just talking about yourself positively will just help you achieve your goals and whatever you want to do, because in that way you're not inhibiting yourself with negative self-talk.
I'm glad you mentioned about like reshaping the way that you think, because then especially for like I consider myself one of the older ones, we're kind of stuck in our ways. I know I'm kind of stuck in my ways at the moment and trying to change that. And so I'm really glad that at least knowing that there's others that think that, oh, we can still change. There's always a way to be able to make that difference in our life. Brother Odie, can I get your thoughts on what renewing your mind is?
For me, if it like for example, with me, I love working out, and I would also follow like people who are super ripped, and that helps me helps me motivate.
I love you, man. Go ahead, keep going.
And that helps me to get to where I want to be, and also where I'm at right now. Like I would look at them and say, man, I want to be like that, but right now I'm at the way I'm at. I'll go at my pace, and that works for me until I get to that point.
And I know I'm glad that for all of us, we're continuing to have that positive mindset, instead of like saying like, "Oh, I can never get there. I can never get to where I want to be." But instead it's like, I'm going at the pace that we can, and we're doing the best that we can to make sure that we're happy and that we're making the goals that we set for ourselves. And so to take a quick break on Nourishing the Mind, we actually have an event that's going on with the world premiere of the Sepsi film Ilau in our home district. We have Ate Melvi, who's on the scene currently viewing the show. Ate Melvi, you there?
Yes, I am here, or we are here. Hi, everyone. My name is Melvi, and with me is Raynalyn right now. And as Mark mentioned, we did watch the film. Well, we didn't get to watch the ending because I didn't know it's 3 hours long. But in terms of nourishing the mind, it definitely aligns with our topic this afternoon because in this film, we learn that no matter how hard and challenging life is, we need to stay positive. We should never give up, and we should never conform to the negativity of what's going on around us, especially when it comes to social media, and that we have to continue to always take good care of ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and all of the above. Rainy Lynn, what do you think about the film?
I totally agree. It really can affect us the way that we live. So, in regards to kind of tying in from watching the movie and what you mentioned, and the topic of today is that I turn the experience of, instead of it being like, of course, not everyone is the same what we see on social media, but we can turn it into a inspirational experience where we can say, oh, I want to do my best, and be able to have things that give me a happy, peaceful, filled, thankful life as well.
Well, that's good. So, how do you nourish your mind day to day?
I have a hobby bag, so I have a book. I write poetry. What is it? Color. I also want to get back into what's it called? Playing piano
Oh,
someday.
that's good.
So
Yeah, hobbies definitely help a lot. But outdoor activities, I love working out. I love eating. I love learning new things. I also love, tapping into a lot of different things that I know would benefit me, especially when it comes to life. And I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, the movie just finished. It's so nice to see everyone here gathered in our district this morning, and everyone had a wonderful time. And I think all of them also, they were able to nourish their minds as well, not only from getting together, socializing, and above all, learning from this film. So hopefully, when you get a chance, if you haven't seen it, we encourage you to watch Ilaw, or it means in English, it means light. So go check it out and hope you'll enjoy it as much as we did. All right, back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Ate Melvi. And again, for everyone, please go ahead, check out the Sepsi film. I have not yet watched it myself, but looking at the previous films prior to Ilaw, like Guerrero Tres, those films have been amazing. Good, shows good Christian values, and all the more exciting to be able to watch the films also created by the talented brethren in the church. So again, please go ahead and check it out. And now to get us back on the show, we're actually going to read a couple of comments from our comment section here. So I'm going to go ahead and kick us off by reading. Happy new weekend, happy viewing to all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from our very own Arthur Renelin, who is right over here on the screen. We're gonna go to Andrew Wynn, jumping in from the local congregation of High Point in the ecclesiastical district of #Virginia. Caitlin, if you can just read 2 comments for us, please.
First off, I want to say hello to Brother Andrew Wynn. He used to be from Bakersfield, so greetings from Bakersfield. Hope you're enjoying it in the District of Virginia. We have Andre Fajardo coming in from this district in a row C. Hello. And Katrina saying hello to our sisters in Fresno right now. And there's a lot more comments if Brother Odie wants to read some as well.
Sorry, my phone is loading at the moment.
No worries, brother. No worries, brother Odie. You actually have some fans in the chat that are saying that they adore and love your haircuts going on today. And so, taking us back into our topic for today, we're going to go ahead and we talked about, the comparison culture in the world today and being able to combat that with renewing your mind with faith-based self-talk, right? And so now we want to go ahead and talk about some practical ways to, get that practice self-talk with positivity instead of looking at things in a negative light. And so I'm going to go ahead and start us off by providing some ways that I do every day in order to make sure that, 1, I'm okay, and 2, that I'm thinking positively as much as I can. And so the first thing that I always like to do in the morning is I actually started stretching in the morning as one, I'm getting there in that age. I know 28 might seem young, but nowadays it's like we're getting older, guys. We're getting older. So you gotta stay flexible, stay flexible in the morning. And 2, I try to always write in my one of my notebooks. You can see here, I actually have about like 4 or 5 journals that I keep on hand, and I try to write out my goals every morning, what I need to accomplish for the day, and I try to keep them very, very achievable. And so, for example, clean my room, wash dishes, simple stuff like that to give myself an achievement for the day. And then I also have one for long-term goals. So save $100, save $500. So that way I'm able to, once I hit those goals, it's awesome. I was able to achieve a long-term goal and so on and so forth. I even have spreadsheets on my Google Drive for different goals for my family or even for my fiance and I, especially since we're getting married next year. And so I'm trying to be able to not stress, but be blessed that we are having that opportunity to get married, right? And so, Odie, I want to go ahead and ask your thought. What are some ways that you continue to practice positive self-talk in your life?
For me, to have that positive self-talk, I work out, of course, and and sometimes I would go out for a run, maybe a mile or 2, just so I can. For me, running really helps me think about the things that are happening in my life and maybe that are negative that I can think about in a positive light.
Well, what's your mile time, if I may ask?
It's kind of not good at the moment.
Does it depend on the struggle for the day, or?
Yeah.
I'm joking, brother. I'm joking. Anyways, okay, yeah, Caitlin, you want to go ahead and share some of the ways that you practice positive self-talk?
Yes, the way I practice self-talk is very feel like it's very practical and very structured. As I mentioned earlier, I'm majoring in psychology, and one of the things I learned from my psychology courses is cognitive behavioral therapy. I know, big word, but stay with me. There's something called the ABCD method, and A stands for adversity, B is belief, C is consequence, and D is disputation. So adversity is whatever you're going through. So for example, constant self-comparison with other people. Belief is obviously what you believe in yourself. Oh, you're comparing yourself to other people. Oh, maybe I'm not good enough. And then C is the consequence. It results to you in thinking negatively about yourself. And so finally, the D for disputation is reflecting and rethinking or reshaping your way of thinking. So you have your evidence of your beliefs and any alternatives as well. For example, like thinking everybody's going at their own pace. The pace that I'm going at is fine. Just because someone is moving faster in life doesn't mean that I'm moving worse in life or anything like that. So it's kind of just reshaping the way I think. And I feel like it's been a very helpful way for me to move in my day-to-day life, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I really do love how structured that is, because I know for me growing up, I was never given any structure on how to be able to handle everything coming in at once, or how to be able to handle all these emotions that are coming in all at once. But like, I think one thing we can all agree on is like being taught at a young age, being able to just sit down, close your eyes, and have that moment with the Almighty. It helps us all out when it comes to thinking positive, right? Because if if God loves us, why can't we love ourselves? I think that's probably one of the greatest things that a piece of advice that somebody gave me growing up, and it helped me become who I am today. And so I want to go ahead and also ask the audience to please give us one practical method that you use in order to help yourself uh, re- be more positive when it comes to giving yourself self-talk, and to even try out the methods that we even shared here. So, Caitlin, I'm probably going to need that ABCD method again. So if you want to go ahead and text that to me after the show.
I will be messaging everyone.
We all need it. We all need it, Caitlin. We will go to you one day.
Yes, and
Let us know when you're done.
Of course.
I also challenge everyone to challenge Brother Odie to a mile race. So, Odie, what is your mile time?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
What do you mean, bro? You're the one that brought it up.
No.
Oh, okay.
Just no.
I feel inspired to go on a jog. I want to.
Yeah.
I miss jogging.
If I were younger, I would actually challenge him. I used to run a lot when I was younger.
Wow.
I love running. I can run all day long. However, as you get older, things change. So when it comes to nourishing the mind, and me being older than all of you here, and also I'm sure some of our audience or listeners and viewers out there, based also on my experiences, number one, just don't bother about anyone but yourself. Other than, it's good that to have, it's good to have family, it's good to have friends, it's good to have life outside church, outside family, anywhere that you go. But if there's one thing I've learned in life, because growing up I was constantly negative, constantly negative. Even when I'm turning something positive, it becomes a negative. Now it took me many, many years to overcome that, and finally I realized, why am I worrying so much about things that don't even matter? People don't really care. Social media won't care about me. They don't provide for me. I need to provide for myself. So I realized, like what you mentioned, Mark, if God gives us all of these gifts, all of the blessings, all of the opportunity to wake up each day to even appreciate life itself, is already more than enough. So that one day, that right there, when I wake up, the first thing I do is not look at my phone at all. I wake up, I do my morning routine, and the last step that I actually do is check my phone, unless it's urgent, unless it's something that has been notified, or that they've notified me about, that the next day I have to check. Other than that, I don't anymore. I used to. It's the first thing I do when I wake up. I'm sure you can relate, Raynolyn, right? When you first wake up, the first thing you do is, after you snooze your alarm, you look at all your messages, and then you go to social media, and then before you know it, mindless scrolling, hours of scrolling, right? Especially on the weekends, instead of at least getting more rested, instead of sleeping in, especially if you're sick. No, you got caught by your phone or other gadgets, or even gaming, for example. Instead of socializing outside, gaming, or even exercising, right? Or sorry, and eating healthy also is important. So if you can incorporate that even little by little in your lives, trust me, it will benefit you long term. That's what I can share. How about you, Renilyn? You have anything to add before we pass it on back to Mark?
Actually, yeah, I can relate to what you're saying. I've learned to little by little do less of that scrolling and checking Well, I mean, I'll check my message here and there, but other than that, like I like scrolling that much. I don't scroll as much on social media as much as I used to. I only check when like there's something inspirational that comes from like life or from INCRadio or INCRadio or things like that. But other than that, I try to do less. I don't scroll as much.
That's good. All right. Well, hope you've learned from everything that we've shared. Listeners and viewers, don't forget to also remember to click that notification or subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not done so. Okay. All right. Back to you, Mark.
Man, let them know out there. Let them know. My goodness, I like. Well, what can we say? What can we say? That's just Ate Melvi was speaking the truths. And so to wrap up the show, I want to go ahead and I thank our guests, Caitlin and Odie, for being here today, letting us know like what the practical ways that they do to practice positive self-talk, whether that be the methodical ABCD method, or even just going on a run, working out, and being able to look at social media and knowing that we're okay with where we're at right now, that we got this because God got us, right? And so I want to go ahead and ask everyone here just to give a one sentence phrase that you can leave the audience to inspire everyone to continue to think positive and not conform to the comparison culture of the world today. I'm going to go ahead and start off with a phrase that I like to use a lot, that I got actually from a TV show. And so the phrase goes, results are the byproduct of a good process. And so if our process is good, then the results will obviously be good. And so, as long as we keep doing what we know is good for us, we know that the results will always be good at the end. And so we just got to keep doing what we're doing and know that we'll be good. Odie?
For me, it would be no matter what in life that may throw at us, God will always have our backs and make sure that even though it feels like we're falling, He'll help us stand right back up.
Caitlin, how about you?
Focus on progress and not absolute perfection.
And that's great. Ate Melvi?
Okay, go ahead, Randolyn.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I would say when you find yourself comparing yourself or find yourself in a negativity cycle, remember, okay, I'm in a cycle. I need to breathe, and then I need to calm down, and then I need to break out of that cycle and turn it into something of a positive experience.
Awesome.
For me, in life, you want something, go get it. As simple as that. Go get it, pray for it, take action, never give up, and always believe in yourself.
And with that being said, that's the end of our show today. So before we go, though, we'd like to thank all of our viewers that tuned into INCRadio today. We also want to thank our district staff, our district minister, our district CFO coordinator. We also want to thank Brother Emmanuel and Daya, our executive producer, to Brother Arnel Solano, our overseeing minister, to our SEPSI CEO and CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Rano Vimanalo, and of course, to our dearest executive minister, Brother Rano Vimanalo, who just celebrated his birthday last month. Happy birthday, Po. We love you so very much. We thank you for everything that you do for the church. We pray for you and your family to continue to guide us in leading us onwards to the right path of salvation. All right, everyone, this is it. Thank you so much. Tune in next time for INCRadio, Central Valley, California. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. See you next week. Thank you, Odie. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
mga lingkod mo. Sa iglesia sila